Hello everyone, welcome to Astro Life on Instagram. Once a week I will be here to share astrology idea with you and also invite one of my colleagues to join me to share their observation and also some interesting topic. What is the important topic today? Well, I know in UK we have Taylor Swift. Hey, just come to UK and boost up the English economic, and that was so interesting. Also, we have a big news about this morning. I think my good friend Alejo just sent me a message saying, do you know Julian Assange has been released? That is very important. I think, yes, that's very interesting. So today we may going to talk about it. But today also quite important, I invite my good friend and is my colleague from the AOA, Brian, going to join us to chat about a little bit of recent transit. So let me join Brian first. Summer, so today is pretty warm. So I think the temperature is quite high, and they're quite interesting about the Julia Assange. But hello, Brian.
Hello,
Hiya, how are you?
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can see you. I can hear you. Maybe could you see me? Because I know some people say they couldn't
Yeah,
see me.
I can't see you. Why?
I don't know. That's the usually bother me a lot because like Lian and a few colleagues always say that we have a problem. So other people can see both of us, can hear both of us, but the one I do the interview, they couldn't see me. So what I guess is, how about I let you lead and I'm just follow your flow. How's that sounds? Is it,
I'm not sure.
you're not sure?
I'm not sure.
Okay. How about you just listen my cue as I start talking and as I stop?
Anyway, I think I can follow, right?
Okay,
Because
you
I
can
have the chart.
follow. Yeah, all right then. Well, I have to tell everyone, Brian and we just finished our podcast for Chinese Mandarin part and switch to here. So we both is kind of a little bit woozy and a little bit hectic. And I think after this podcast, Brian has to go to recording another podcast. Well, life is busy, but better than no job. Okay, well, if you want me to lead, I will start it from the hot topic.
Yeah, sure.
That's this morning, we all see the news that the very famous the leader of the WikiLeaks, Julian Assange, who is caused a lot of shocking in the
Mm,
winter of 2010, and after that he being persecuted by Sweden, and also he was kind of arrested in UK, and then
mm,
hiding himself in London's I think is Ecuador's embassy. And
yeah.
then also, I think it's quite interesting. His life is fascinating. But now, after so many years, no matter you like him or not, in part of him, I quite like his, reveal the dark secret. But in another way, it was like my consideration would be, is that safe for those intelligence work? People always take sides, but I try not to. I just thinking from both sides. Doesn't mean I don't have my opinion, but doesn't matter. What I think is, let's talk it from astrology. And I think Brian couldn't see it, but that's okay. I'm going to look at the chart of the this morning, because this morning he was attended in the place is in Saipan, and that is the territory of the United States in the Pacific and the North Mariana Island, I think. So, but in Saipan, the capital of that area, and then attend a court and to make a deal so he can be released. And now I think I just checked the news. He just landed in Australia, finally got home. This is
Oh,
long journey. He finally got home, so he's really get his freedom back. So now I'm going to share the chart for the audience. But Brian, you can look at the chart you have. All right. So
Okay.
what I'm here now, what here I'm going to share is the what should I say, the transit chart, of Julian Assange's birth chart and today's transit Well, in
Okay.
astrology, we don't really only look at transit, but the transit would be the fast things. We have to look at the recent planetary configuration and his birth chart. Okay, for those you don't know Julian Assange's birth chart, he was born 3rd July 1971, and according the data we have, his birth time was 3 p.m. or 15 o'clock, and in Townsville in Australia. His ascendant, according to his chart, his ascendant is 1 degree Sagittarius, and his MC at a 19-degree Leo. So you can see it from here. Well, the pretty interesting was the Jupiter, because we know we recently just have Jupiter go through the Gemini and go through his descendant. And this is a very important, because usually in the transit, Jupiter is mean freedom. Jupiter means freedom. Jupiter means released and the luck. So this important transit really happening. Jupiter crosses descendant, move toward to the visible sky from his chart, coincidentally with his release. And also, if we look at his chart, we will see that Saturn, his natal Saturn is 1 degree Gemini. So when Jupiter cross over and coincidentally with his release, that is very, very literally astrological significant. Brian, do you want to share any your observation from this chart?
Yeah, the interesting is that Saturn is also the ruler of his fourth house, which, of course, we know that fourth house is where we live or our home.
Oh, yeah.
I,
Yes.
I, yeah, when I was reading this chart, I wondered if that transit Jupiter over natal Saturn means that he gets back his freedom to go home. And the
Yes, I
other,
agree.
the other thing that I noticed is that the nodal axis conjunct his natal Chiron and Uranus opposition.
Wow.
Of course, the conjunction, the north node has already moved over this opposition, because we know that the nodes actually moved backward along the zodiac, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I I I would say that that opposition of Uranus and Chiron somehow describes his, whether you agree or not. At least to him, I think he believes that he did all those things for freedom, democracy, advancement of human beings. Uranus.
Yeah.
And
Yes, indeed.
the Chiron thing is his imprisonment or his suffering when he carry on all those Uranus activities or issues. So I think the nodal axis over this opposition also somehow describes
I
this,
yeah. I 100% agree with you. I 100% agree with you. This opposition is somehow described in his natal chart about those WikiLeaks. That's really WikiLeaks breaking news that Uranus with technology and with Chiron. In one way, want to heal. In one way, want to support democratic. But in another way, does have some impact you agree or not, what we don't need to choose side, but we just be observer of this, this chart and coincident what happening in his life. And very interesting. I think if we read news today, in the media, quite interesting. At this moment, they focus on his landing, his I don't know what media focus on, but I think according his wife or some media say he needed time to heal. Chiron. That is
Oh,
very interesting, isn't it? But I just noticed another thing I have to point out. The Jupiter at this moment is also trying his Uranus. Have you noticed? Jupiter at
yeah,
7 degree
yeah,
Gemini is trying his
yeah,
Uranus, and that is a co-ruler or modern ruler of his fourth house, and
yeah,
that is
yeah,
so interesting. That is so interesting. But
yeah.
well, I just remember when before we start this recording, I still remember you talking about the transiting Uranus, right? The transiting Uranus, your observation is quite interesting.
You know, when we just ended our previous podcast, and when I was getting my last preparation for this podcast, I checked the chart again. I noticed another thing which is quite interesting. I
Yeah,
said that our transit Uranus will move across his descendant, right? And it
yes,
should be 2025, right? Mid
yes,
2025. And when you check his solar direction chart,
yes.
the directed Uranus actually will exact conjunct his ascendant point next year.
Oh, let me check. Let me check. I'm so interesting. Let me draw the chart now. So,
Yeah,
and go to solar arc direction.
yeah, it is in the chart that you sent me.
Here we are. Yes. Is this one
Yeah,
you're talking
because
about?
the directed Uranus this year 2024 should be in Aries 0 degree 14 minutes, right? So next year in 2025 it should be in 1 degree Sagittarius, not Aries,
Eh,
but Sagittarius.
Yeah. Wow,
So it
that
should
is a
be
fascinating.
yeah, exact conjunct his natal ascendant next year.
And have you noticed the solar arc Venus for this year still conjunct his south node,
Yeah,
and south node there
yeah,
is a release meaning too. South node there is a release meaning too. That was so interesting. That is
yeah,
really interesting. I mean, this is a fascinating moment. But about the Uranus crossing the ascendant, and also next year Uranus will crossing the ascendant. So next year is another Uranus moment. I
yeah,
think this is my guess. Even they say he need time to heal, not for long. He will be very active. I, I, I'm not going to suggest anything, but he will be pretty active next year when Uranus, the solar arc, Uranus crosses the ascendant, and also transiting Uranus is cross his descendant. I think there is a
yeah.
double whammy there about changing things, changing environment. I don't think he will be stay quiet. He will be very, very active next year. This is my suggestion. And also, look, the Mars, solar arc Mars is going to cross his Chiron again.
Oh,
And
yes, yes,
MC cross Uranus. Oh my God, this is triple Uranus. Look, MC crosses NATO. Have you seen the
yes,
solar
yes,
arc MC is go?
yeah,
It's just moved. All these things is changing, and I
yeah,
think it would be a little bit more controversial
yeah,
sometime when the Mars cross the Chiron. His behavior is benefit or cause more harm to people. That that would be really, really interest. Yeah. Do you have
yeah.
any other things you want to share with us?
And because now he has already been back to Australia,
Yeah.
and when that transit Uranus moves into Gemini next year, it will actually first conjunct his natal Saturn. Of course, we know that
Yeah.
Saturn is our security or our borderline. Our
Yeah.
and this Saturn actually again rules his fourth house. I really wonder if something about his residency or his
Ah.
citizenship in Australia, but I'm not sure. Just wild guess. Wild guess.
Well, we don't
Wild
make
guess.
we don't make any
I
assumption, but we
know.
only
Yeah.
in astrology we like to talk about possibility. With this, we say,
Yeah.
well, there is a lot of things going on for this year and next year. That is so interesting. Thank you, Brian, to share this. I'm crazy about the mundane astrology, and I always like it. So well. But I know we're not just here to talk about the important Julian Assange, but we also, for everyone, we will have some tips to go into. No, sorry, before I invite Brian to share his view, I have another thing to share with everyone. That's my specialty. I have to go back to chart. I have to go back to chart. Just a moment. It's about comet. Well, in my own research, I love comet, and I'm really working so hard to write a book about the comet. Should be released soon. But look, Julian Assange, and that is very interesting. Let me check my ready for my the yes, I have it here. I have it here. Brian, cope with me, all right?
Come on.
Just cope with me
I'm
because
ready.
no, because you can't see it, but you can see I already posted on my Facebook about
Where
this
is the
comet part.
comet? Where is
Yeah.
it?
Okay. Why is comet? Okay. I'm going to share with all of you is about the early this year. Early this year, from March to April, there was a comet visible, naked eye visible comet called Ponsbrock. And I give a talk in New York about the Least comet, So the first, I want to invite you to see on the left-hand side on the screen, now you can see is the ephemeris of this comet, 12P Ponsbrock. You can easily to generate the ephemeris. I share it on my blog. Also, soon I will include this in my book. The Ponsbrock cross the celestial equator on the may the force may the force be with you. May the force to the May the 5th, and they cross the celestial equator. But if we check this ephemeris, we will see also this day on the constellation, it moved from in the sky. It's not a zodiac. Constellation of Taurus moved to Eridanus, that's a river in the sky. But also for the tropical zodiac, this comet, and when it crosses celestial equator, the degree is here you see 61. If we converted 61 to the zodiac, is first degree of Gemini.
Mm.
Now, that means in May, when the comet crossed the celestial equator, was indeed conjunct his descendant and his natal Saturn. And as I say, my research of a comet find that one meaning of a comet is very interesting, is release. Because this is from astronomy. Comet is the dirty snowball with dust and ice. When they move toward to the sun, these, because the change of temperature, this ice become vapor with dust, cause beautiful comet's tail. That is release. So I usually observe the comet with release, and then also the technique about the celestial equator is very interesting. This is a technique from the Tycho Brahe. Tycho Brahe, when he studied comet, he studied syzygy of the comet. The when you see the comet, you study the full moon or new moon before, and also you study the time when comet crosses the celestial equator. This become the important degree of the comet. And that's why I mentioned about the degree of a comet at 1 degree Gemini when it crosses the celestial equator and is on his Saturn, release from imprisonment. And that is so interesting. Well, if you want to know more, just give me a little bit of time. I will publish my book very soon. And also by the end of this year, there's a huge comet. That's why I'm rushed into my book, going to make it, a collection. So, but I mean, we talk about enough about things. Let's talk about everyone. So, Brian, what information you going to bring us today about what, about the recent transit? Everyone can apply for it.
I would say, I think let's put our attention on the new moon chart.
Okay.
The upcoming new moon will be on the 6th of July 2024, and this new moon will be in Cancer.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm going to make the chart so you can talk and our audience can read the chart. All right?
yeah, I'll say at first glance, I'll say that, well, this new moon chart, comparatively speaking, looks peaceful.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was actually my first thought. But when I drew the chart for Hong Kong, and when I laid
Okay.
the Newman chart over the Sydney chart of the States, I noticed something quite interesting. But anyway, the 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 chart for, okay, if we lay the Newman chart over the Sydney chart of the States, we actually will see that this new moon actually happens very near to the natal sun of the States.
Okay. United States, you mean?
Yeah, because
Okay.
we know
Let
that
me
the
call you
national,
continue. Let me call the
yeah,
chart out.
the national day of the States is 4th of July, and this new moon is at 6th of July. So this new moon is actually very near to the States sun. And I'll say that uh of course, we know that there will be a vote very soon for the states, right?
Yeah.
And I would say that in this upcoming month, there could be some significant progress for this related to this vote. And also, the Mercury of this new moon chart actually it almost is at the same degree at the state's north node.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I would say let's see some significant progress about the vote.
Yeah. Yeah. May I share something? It is quite
Yeah,
interesting. When I noticed the 14 degree, well, we will think about a fixed stars is near there.
which one?
Which one?
Which
Let me
one?
show you. Let me show you. Let me show you. Let me show you. Just give me 1 second. I don't want to. I mean, most people already guess because there's only few fixed star people will keep talking about it. And this one is super bright, super famous. And well, I don't know. Does our audience already know about it? Just a moment. Just a moment. I'm still trying to code it out. Where here we are. Okay, here we are. Have you seen
No.
Sirius? Dog star Sirius. Oh yeah, you can't say it. Sorry. Sirius at
Yeah,
this moment.
I can see nothing.
Sirius at this moment is a 14
Ah,
degree. 14-degree Cancer
I see.
24. And the new moon is a 14-degree Cancer 23. 1 minute away. Wow.
Oh. So this
I
new one actually is at the same at the degree of Sirius,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. With
Yeah.
1 minute, only
Oh.
1 minute away. This would be hot. This would be literally hot because we know the in the ancient Greek and the Roman time, they talking about Sirius suggest the hot weather. They suggest about
Oh.
the hot weather, severe hot weather. I don't know, but I will invite everyone because I living in UK. We don't usually have a hot weather, but if you living in some area where has kind of a hot weather, I would probably suggest you to prepare to about the get ready for how to avoid the hot weather and how to prepare to living under the extremely severe weather to get ready. And also, I like to say, because you just mentioned about in the United States, well,
Mm.
if anyone has this position or make a decision under this influence, I will say it could be great. It could be idealism. It could be fascinating.
Mm.
But the one thing I really like to mention is that I like a tiny secret of a series, which we see a lot of a case has that impact is usually when people connect with a series, they want to do great things. They have earned a big honor. They have an idea or something. But
Mm.
usually they have to pay a price. For example, I'm not talking about Julian Assange, but it's like Julian Assange. He want to create a transparency of a digital world and avoid the dark secret. And he is also kind of anti-government about, he doesn't like how government handle the things. So what he does was kind of, release this message and become a hero. Some people see him as a hero, some people disagree. But that costs him a huge price to pay from
Yeah.
nearly 14 years. Wow, another 14 years is a Uranus changing side. Am I right? I think so,
Yeah.
right?
2 times. Yeah.
Oh my God, this is totally significant. Okay, back to series. What I say is you have a price to pay, a big price to pay. I don't want to freak people out, but the archetype of a series is the series in the Harry Potter. You know, in the Harry Potter story, his godfather is a Sirius Black, and his dream is going to protect his godson, living with his godson. Well, he success, but he paid a price. That price is sacrifice his life. So you just remind me this big decision in the United States
Yeah.
has price to pay too. That's it. I'm not going to freak anyone out. But if you want to do
Yeah.
things big, you have to ready to pay the big price. And that's just my idea of this observation about a series. So,
Yeah.
is there anything related to current transit you like to, share?
One more thing, that new moon in the States actually formed an exact square to the Saturn in its 10th house. So
Yeah. Oh yes.
yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
It's a
it's an
square, and
exact, very exact square.
yes. Wow. That square.
Yeah.
I think. What do you think? Would that have an
Yeah.
impact? Because
I would
I'm
say
moving ahead because I'm trying to look at chart.
yeah, I would say that square is what persuaded me that this is about the progress or process of the vote.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I am not sure. Yeah, but I'll
Okay.
say that yeah, let's pay attention to the news related to a state this month.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, that is so fun. That is a really, really interesting about this. So maybe really coming up months, well, we can expect the, you know, world political, geopolitical, or economic have some important change because there's a huge, huge, huge things is related to the United States Newman conjunct series on the sun of a Sibley chart in the squared Saturn. Saturn is the second house ruler and third house ruler. You know, pretty interesting, pretty interesting. Yeah, on the personal level, Brian, on the personal level, what our audience can expect about this beautiful Cancer new moon?
Well, when it comes to Cancer, I would say eat, rest, stay at home.
I'm very happy with that suggestion.
You know, Venus is also in Cancer in this new moon chart. So
Yes, indeed.
yeah, and in this new moon chart, there actually, uh, if I'm correct, there is only one opposition and no squares in this chart. The only opposition is Mercury and Pluto,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah, so I would
yes.
say it should be a comparatively relaxing month, I would say.
Mm,
And mm, yeah, I would say on personal level, I would say, okay, eat, rest, stay at home.
okay, okay. Well, that's a really cancer things, right? Look after yourself, look at your foundation. Well, I will say, I will not say if you, because I mentioned about the series, and
Mm.
another things is the Mars Uranus. Yesterday I chatted with uh, uh,
Ah,
Christine Skinner. She mentioned she take it quite serious about this Mars going to conjunct Uranus in Taurus, and from yesterday, Uranus is already stepped into the 1 degree orb with Algo. These
oh, yeah.
interesting fixed stars, and most astrologers are looking forward to see their performing, especially when Mars going to also conjunct Uranus at this degree. So I would say the first part of the month is
And,
probably okay, but after full moon, you know, after full moon would be pretty interesting because Mars is getting closer and closer toward to the Algo too. So maybe outside the world would be a lot of change and make
yeah,
people a little bit hectic. But the Cancer, I like
and,
you say, foundation, our
yeah.
our inner world, our foundation, our house. If you have a very secure foundation, if you feel stable and satisfied with your life, and you know where you're going and where is your home, maybe you can, even the outside world is a tornado, stormy, showering or something, you still can stay steady with your root. What
Yeah,
do you
and
think, Brian?
I would like to add one more thing. If you use semi-sextile, that is another thing that is actually quite worth paying attention to. Um, Chiron right now is at 23rd degree Aries, right?
Yes.
And if you use asteroid and dwarf planet, the dwarf planet Aries now is actually at 25 degree Aries, which forms an
Wow.
exact sextile to Uranus. So when transit Mars conjunct Uranus, it will also form an exact semi-sextile to that Aries and to Chiron. And
Oh, c'est chaud
of
là.
course, Algo. Yeah, and of course, Algo. So I would say, of course, the effect or influence of semi-sextile is rather subtle. So I'm not sure how it how it will actually shows up, but I would say that if you use semi-sextile, you can see what's going on this month, especially when like what Rob and Christina Skinner mentioned when Uranus actually conjunct Uranus.
Yeah, yeah, that is I like it. You were focused on the, Aries, and that is pretty stunning. And I think it's going to be fun. I mean, Aries is usually cause disruption, right?
Yeah, and war. Not really war, but disruption, conflicts, and
Uh-huh.
quarrels and arguments.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. Wow. That is going because if they're going to cause a you say semi-sextile,
yeah,
and that is kind of caused by something misunderstood or something unintentionally to step
yeah.
on each other's foot and cause the kind of disharmony. So yeah, maybe that's what we should be pay a little bit attention for the next new moon. Wow, thank you, Brian. I know you have a lot of things to do. I know after this you're going to record another podcast, and so hardworking. Thank you, Brian. I mean,
Thank,
I'm
thank you.
really
Yeah.
looking forward to have a more Brian to share his view on our Astro Life on Instagram. And if you like our podcast, live stream podcast, please like, share, and subscribe, or add me as a friend or follow me on the Instagram because I need that.
So honest.
So honest. It's like I'm just one step away from the musical Oliver. It's like sir, may I have a little bit more? Okay, thanks everyone. I really enjoy this live stream with my good friend Brian. And Brian,
So happy me.
I really happy with this today's. I really enjoy it, and I really want you to come back for more. Okay, okay. See you. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks everyone.